Good morning. Can you picture it? What are you picturing? What are you picturing? This? What's this? Well, you know what? This whole month really is about manifestation is not miraculous. If one believes when something happens, like, oh my God, that was so miraculous. That was incredible. No, there's really nothing to it. There's everything to it, but there's really nothing to it. So this month, everything is about how can you manifest in your life? How can you manifest and hold and picture something for the collective life, for the planet, for humanity, for our country, for our community, all of that, right? And so last week we talked, I didn't, but last week, if you were here, you can catch up, it was Believe It. And this week is all about See It, right? See it, see it. Now, we're just going to put on our special, like Aria, our 4-year-old granddaughter, she has special goggles that she'll put on. And she can see things like she normally couldn't see. Come on. You see that America Got Talent fans, you know, Heidi Klum will do this. Oh, I can see it. She puts on her... Okay, y'all don't watch America Got Talent like we do. Okay, anyway, come on, everybody online. I want you to do this. Well, you can choose not to. You can decide. But here we go. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that, but not just yet. I'm gonna start with, before we even get to see it, really, I'm taking us at the ground level first. Before we even get to see it, you got to start with, what do you want? Oh my gosh. Not what do I want? No, what do you want? Because it's all about me. It's all about you. Ari and I played this game. She said, it's all about me. I said, right, it's all about you. No, it's all about me. And I said, you're right, it's all about, no, it's all about me, KK. So it's all about me, which is all about you. You have to decide what you want. Not what I want for you, but what you want. And I've got to say, over these 20 years, now almost a practice in science of mind, that I've spoken to, met with, had conversations, deep conversations with people that really don't know what they want. I've met some people, see if the shoe fits. I've met some people that are afraid to say what they want. I've talked to some folks that are so concerned, what if I choose the wrong thing? And, if I choose, am I limiting my good? Because I made a choice instead of leaving it to the limitless, infinite possibilities. Do you know anybody, perhaps a shoe fits, that says, well, I really don't want to say what it is I want, because if I don't get what I want, I'll be disappointed yet again. I don't want to say what it is I want, because then I might really finally have to believe that this stuff doesn't work. You're right. So, you may have decided to do something else this afternoon, but I'm going to invite you to choose differently and to come to a workshop that I'm putting on online, so you can go back home, or in person, and it's called The Power of Decision. Power of Decision workshop, you can decide to invest in your own life and to expand it, and to assist you in knowing what it is you want. Peter says to me all the time, oh my God, you're so good at manifesting. Why? Because I know what I want. And I'm not afraid to go for what I want. Now, some people go, well, that's selfish. Well, I include you when I go for things that I want. It's not selfish. I'm in my spiritual realm. I know what I want, and I go for what I want. And I get what I want. And this is the book, The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. that started it all for me, and this entire workshop this afternoon is coming from this book. Reading the book is not the same. That's no different than coming on Sunday mornings to transform your life is not the same as being in classes and being in workshops and spending time working on you. Just like you can spend the morning working out, you got to work on you. So you've got to decide now, because up to this morning, no one else had but Julia to come to my workshop. And I see 20 people at least joining me this afternoon at 1 o'clock to work on this, The Power of Decision. It's one of the top 3 books in my life. So I decided 3 significant times in my life to live the life of my dreams. And I'm deciding every single day. And some days are better than others. And sometimes I forget to decide. And sometimes I don't care to decide. Sometimes I don't want to decide. Sometimes I just want to be unhappy, believe it or not. Sometimes I just want to live in my pissosity, believe it or not. Sometimes I just want to be grumpy or gritchy. No one that I live with ever experiences any of this with me. No. And I just want to share, this is real time. I just want to share that our granddaughter, once again, is one of the greatest teachers in my life. We just had the most incredible week up in cool New Hampshire at our cabin, out in nature, seeing beavers and in a kayak and going for walks and blowing bubbles and playing statue and all of this. And she got to wear her special dress. She calls it her heart dress. And she became a nature love principal, the princess, the one and only. And we flew, and she even got to fly business class yesterday because KK got upgraded. And, it was just amazing. And she woke up this morning so happy, gave us our hugs, and oh my God, the whole day is so great. And the next thing was, I want to wear my heart dress. And we said, it's dirty, you can't. And this girl went into unhappiness like you've never seen. And she walked out of the room, sat on the bed, and I finally said, you can decide to be unhappy as long as you want, but it's taken away from our time to play before we have to go. And there I was right there. She helped me. So, Raymond Charles Barker is an Ernest Holmes. He's like an Ernest Holmes. There were 2 people that led the science mind movement for many, many years, and he was one of them. He's a brilliant man. And he says, and when I read this over 15 years ago, hit me right between the eyes. He said, indecision is actually the individual's decision to fail. You actually make a decision by not deciding. You're deciding to fail. The inability to accept the responsibility of running your own mind may be the major sin of life, he says. And it's the first principle of individuality. You might have heard of it. It's called self-determination. So freedom of mind action is actually your birthright. You were born to be you. Your consciousness is fully equipped to express you. You have to realize that you can be you. Or some of us decide to be a potpourri of other people's decisions, thoughts, opinions, choices, etc. I'm sure you've never sought outside yourself to help make a decision. I've never. So choosing, deciding, have joy and fun with it, because actually there's no right answer. It's your answer is that you can have what you want. So I really, before the clicker knows how to work this morning too, there. I've learned that whenever anything is feeling constricted or I'm tight or I have to breathe, first of all, because I don't breathe a lot in my body. I have to remember to take a breath. And Arya's grandmother, Ummi, is going, I hear her all the time now, just take a breath, take a breath. So take a breath. Because I want you to take this in from Barker. The originating mind of the cosmos knows what it is doing, and it does its work well. It has a mathematical accuracy of law and order. It cannot have any self-argument, and it is never indecisive. It asks no questions. It leans on no one. It proceeds in its business of creating the new, the better, and the different. That is who you are. That is who you always have been. So, staying with basics. We're going to a definition of law. We've heard this word in this community a lot, law. It's not human law, very different. This is a spiritual law. It's mind in action. It's this creative medium of spirit. It's the great mental law of the universe. It's the law of the spirit. So Holmes and Barker will call it so many things. It is the universal law of mind. And the laws of mind and spirit must be understood if they are to be consciously used for definite purposes. This is how it works. And there's no limit to this law, but there's definitely a limit to one's understanding of it. First time I heard law, oh my gosh, I didn't get it. And it still stretches my mind. So law, we've heard this, soil, creative medium, it has no limit. The limit is in our understanding of it. Our limit is in our use of it, or our lack of use, or our misuse of it. And we do all of the above. And our misuse of this appears when we misuse it. We think there are all these laws. No, there's mind in action. It's the soil. It's everywhere present. What you put in it, tomato seed comes out. If you've been in a class, you've heard this. It comes out tomato. It's everywhere present. It's within us. It is us, this creative medium. It's very important to understand this, right? Because whatever we think, believe in, that was last week, feel, visualize, right? Vision, read, talk about, in fact, all processes which affect or impress us, inside of us, are going to be subject to our thought, which is our own use, the individualized use of this universal mind. Because the law is this blind force. It's impersonal. It can't say, oh, that's good for Karen, let's go. It can't say, you sure you want to put that in your mouth? Let's go. It just doesn't. It's impersonal. So the great news is, and the scary news is that we control our own destiny. Invictus, you might have heard of it. William Ernest Henley, he says, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So we all have a boat on the ocean. It's just how are we sailing it? So let's get to see it, shall we? Visualize, visualization, comes out of the glossary in the Science Mind textbook in the back. It says the art of mentally projecting thought form into the creative medium. I want to stop there. It's not about projecting. It's projecting. It's not the body. Imagine I don't even have a body, but it's inside. It's the inside projection. So mentally projecting thought form into the creative medium. Imagine that your entire spiritual body is this soil, and you're projecting it into it, right? So visualizing means mentally seeing the things you wish to have. When you mentally see the things you desire, you see them clearly. And I really got curious because Holmes and Barker talks about see clearly a lot. I'm like, What does that mean? When you see clearly, you present to universal mind images of thoughts, like putting things in the creative soil, the medium, right? And the moment one does that, especially with feeling behind it, it starts to project them into form. So we don't see it outside of us. We see it within it. And we do this all the time. And sometimes we make a bad mold, just like they do in business. It's a bad mold. So we don't have to hold it in our mind. We have to think clearly, Holmes says. Think clearly. What the heck is to think clearly? I really was like, what? And so I did some research in some of Holmes' writings. I'm like, think clearly. What does he mean to think clearly? And I came across this quote that helped me to see things more clearly. He says, to become alive and build the greatest lives, we must become something more, something worthwhile. I am now using this since I found this a few weeks ago. He says, there's not a day in my life that goes by that I do not take time to unify myself in my consciousness with big things, to think I am one with all activities, all industries. He didn't even say his industry. He said all industries, all commerce, etc., etc., all spiritual communities, all countries, right? Big things. Unify ourselves and just feel that thought, reaching out and encompassing the largest fields of activity in the world. Then you are one with the infinite stars in heaven, and that is to see things. Just take a moment. Have you ever woke up doing your spiritual practice and done that before? I got one. From now on, we're all going to do that. Every morning, put that like, I'm going to see things. I'm going to connect. I'm going to unify within myself. I'm going to see it all. I'm going to just big things, big things. I think that means to think clearly, to see clearly. Because he says it is that in our mental attitude which decides what we are to become and nothing else. If you can feel the mental concept of your business touch the universal, you would only have to speak the word, and it will come to you in a ceaseless stream. So, from now on, every morning, I'm unifying with big things, unifying this community with big things, unifying each one of you in this community with big things. I don't need to know what your business is. I don't need to know what your work is. I don't need to know what you're doing in retirement if you're retiring. I just see it clearly with big things, that every single person is connected to big things. My business. Big things to start the day. That is what one key thing I want you to get, to see clearly. I saw when I was a little girl that I was here to find my soulmate and to get married once. Happened. I saw clearly that I was going to live in the Oakland Hills in my dream home and live there till I died. Happened. And then it didn't. I saw clearly California poppies in my garden in 2007 when I first found Science of Mind. There they were a year later. Oh my goodness. I saw clearly I'm going to do ministry full time and thrive while doing it. Happened. I saw clearly I moved through breast cancer diagnosis easily, effortlessly, quickly, and live cancer-free. Yep. Anytime I hear about somebody else getting diagnosed, going through it, boy, do I have to see clearly. Tell you. I'm like, no. And they have that experience as I have that experience. As I see clearly about me, they too must have, because I'm seeing clearly. I want to travel the world with my camera in my hands. I saw that clearly. Yep. I love this one. I see clearly inside myself. People wonder, how does this happen? This year alone, weather forecast every day in Costa Rica was rain. We didn't get rained on. In Peru, every day, weather forecast. Nope. Ireland, in May. Nope. Everywhere. I see it clearly. Like, I don't have to check the weather. I see that it might, and I'm like, nope. See it clearly. I see clearly every single one of our tours are full, even if currently they aren't. It can be anything. We have to decide what it is. Another powerful C quote from Holmes is, never let anything cause you to doubt your ability to demonstrate the truth. Conceive your word as being the thing. See the desire is already accomplished. Rest in perfect confidence, peace, and certainty, never looking for results, never wondering, never becoming anxious, never being hurried or worried. Oh, I'm anxious this tour and going to make, oh no, it's full. Therefore, what do I have to be anxious about? You see? Do you see? Who do you hear that from? Do you see? Do you see? I have to do this every day of my life. This is not a magic pill. This is not miraculous. It's actually a daily practice. But where are we starting from? And these are the steps, right? See it. Visualize it in your mind's eye. Give it definite intention. We're not coercing anything. There's no coercion here. You have to be willing to take part. Okay, well, this isn't happening. There was a point for the Japan tour with CSLDallas in the fall where, because Peter decided to offer the community 2 tours this year, Japan didn't fill up. I still saw it full. I still saw it full. I was like, oh, goodness. I still saw it full. Michael Gott came here to give a concert and give a talk several months ago. And I went, hey, Michael, would you like to go to Japan? Oh, I'd love it. Would you offer this to your community and so both community members can go? Oh, I'd love that. In 2 weeks, it was full. So we have to see it and we have to act and do our part, right? And if it's already full, I'm never peering around the corner to see if it's really gonna happen. Everything begins inside. Aria taught me that this morning. I had to change the creative medium. I had to plant a new seed this morning so I did not come here grumpy and unhappy. I watched her, and then guess what? In about 2 minutes, she made a decision. I decide to be happy. She came out. She said, okay, I'll put that on. Great. Let's keep playing. Great. And I went, there I am. And so I planted a new seed because I saw giving this talk to you so that you can put it to use in your work. It's not for me, but yet it's just as much for me as it is for you. Every mystic, every savior, every saint has told their followers that inside of oneself is the explanation of the outside of one's self. What I have absolutely come to know is if I see it differently inside of me, it absolutely changes. I tend to focus on everybody else and everything and every politician and every single thing outside of me, and nothing changes. It gets worse until I see it and hold it differently inside of me. And folks, sometimes that ain't easy. But it works every single time. I want to bring one thing out of the book because I know a lot of us need this. Let's take, for example, health and vitality. Okay? Here we go. Get ready. This is off of page 142 in this edition of this book. Barker says, the power of your imagination is tremendous. You have watched yourself use it to magnify negatives. Now use it to expand your consciousness of well-being. Perhaps you have never really imagined yourself as vital health. We're going to do that right now. Hold tight. While you're doing this, that I'm going to lead you through very quickly, because it doesn't have to take long. You don't have to travel to far out places and sit on a mountaintop or a beach, though it helps to get out of your normal daily activity. Just go to a park, wherever you live. But when you get ready to do this right now, visualize your health. Be certain, he says, not to include any present physical limitations you may have. Okay? Leave them outside the room right now. I don't care what's going on in your body. Right now. Don't bring it in the room. You're going to make the picture perfect in every way. See youthfulness, perfect sight, perfect hearing, and all other body actions and reactions as total and perfect. Do not include limitations. You are now about to see yourself as you were created to be. Erase any age conditioning. It's the big one. So tired. Do you know, Peter broke her collarbone and they just said, it's just going to heal on its own. And it was so off wonky. Well, because of her age and because you're not that active, that's assumed. She said, I paraglide in the Swiss Alps. I go hiking, in the Swiss, blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, you're a good candidate for surgery. Don't include limitations. For a moment, forget yourself as you really are. You are now seeing yourself, this is your task when we go in, as the infinite knows you to be. Okay. Because such a picture held in your mind for several moments has great therapeutic power. So I want you, if you're willing, to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Picture yourself as a radiant, whole being. Radiant, whole being. And because you are now a radiant, whole being, keep working it, keep expanding it, be it, see it. Put action somehow into this picture of yourself. See yourself now. Put yourself, this radiant, whole being that you are, into action. because health is the capacity of doing. See yourself accomplishing a goal and doing this with ease right now. See yourself. See it inside of you as just if you were to open your eyes and there you are. See yourself doing this. Great. Now come back in. Keep doing this. Do this. Go inside. See yourself as vibrant, radiant health. No matter what is going on physically, see it, see it. Because in order to be fully alive and enjoy life and experience health and vitality, we must begin within ourselves. Do you know the hardest thing for me to do right now and has been for, a couple of years is to look in the mirror? So I have to look within, look within, look within. As I see myself as radiant, vibrant health, it must outpicture without. But we have to begin within. The exercise and the eating is great, but start within first. And to the degree that we can visualize ourselves as healthy, to the extent we know that God as life, as me, is perfect, whole, and complete, to the extent that we can accept mentally the perfection of one life as our life, then that's the extent that we'll be able to enjoy the health, which is our birthright. Does not matter our age. Because the inside of the individual is the explanation of the outside of the individual. If there's anything you don't like on the outside, all we got to do is decide and see differently on the inside. See it. Financial success, if it's not where you want it on the outside, it's been waiting for you to see it. That's all. It's been waiting for you to see it on the inside and accept financial success as your own. And when you really know that your inside world is the cause of your outside world, that is when you can have full control over the consciousness of cause and have true freedom in both thought and action. So believe it. We started with believe it. Believe that this is the way it works. Decide what it is you want. See it. Visualize it. Inside. And next week, don't know what it's going to be, so we have to show up. We got to be it. And I don't care what you were doing this afternoon. I'll see you this afternoon in my workshop online or in the STEM room. And so it is.